Hello, and welcome to That Booty, the channel where we approach spirituality with curiosity and discernment. This topic has come up quite a lot for me over the course of my spiritual journey and also amongst friends. And that question, or the question that arises, is how do we navigate the pitfalls of our spiritual journey? We've all been there where we feel like we've hit a certain spiritual milestone. We're vibing really high. We've really integrated a new truth. We've somehow reached a new level of understanding and acceptance, and it feels like nothing can knock us off this cloud. And then suddenly, either a series of events transpire or it just comes out of nowhere, and you feel like you've lost something, you've messed up. Something has happened where you no longer have access to that spiritual high of sorts. The thought process that happens for a lot of people is, what have I done wrong here? What did I do to knock the momentum off course? What action did I take or did I not take that has caused me to stray from the path? Why have I lost momentum or maybe even gone backwards? How do you manage that feeling when everything's been going great and then suddenly it's just not? The first thing that helps me in these situations is to remember that I am closer to my highest self, closer to spiritual alignment, closer to my goal than I am to the person I was before I began the journey, before I entered into awareness. And this is very important because once we trip up or something happens, it's very tempting to fall into old habits of the ego, to engage in behaviors that no longer serve us, to throw our hands up and say, I tried, and abandon the methods you were implementing or the positive energies that you were working with. Just abandon them because it's easier to go back into your old ways and fall into comfort. But if you take the moment to remember you are closer to your higher self than to the person you were before you started on your spiritual journey, I find that very, very helpful in accessing the courage you need to keep moving forward when things aren't shiny and tingly and bright and new. Another important thing to remember about the spiritual journey is that it's a lifetime commitment. There really is no specific destination, no end to the learning, to the growing. As infinite beings, there are infinite ways to explore and express our spirituality. And therefore, we will have amazing highs on this journey. And just like with all things, there will be lows to experience as well. Our spirituality is a tool to help us navigate life with confidence, integrity, and empowerment. But it doesn't promise a life without inconveniences or at least some degree of suffering. It's how quickly you're able to transmute those energies into something positive and redirect your attention to the things you can control and take empowered action from there. That is what counts most on the spiritual journey. And I'd love to tell you that you're definitely going to or not going to experience a certain number of things. But everybody's path unfolds differently. The one thing I can guarantee is that there will be some degree of change in the mix. When this change is not as pleasant as you'd like, I urge you to keep on going and keep on moving forward, remembering again, and I can't say or stress this enough, that you are closer to the best version of you than you are to the person you were before you started trying and taking inspired action towards your best self and your best life. So don't go backwards. Keep moving forward when the ego tries to snag you and drag you back into your comfort zone, the safety of the known, no matter how dissatisfying that may be, will try to draw you back when you're making progress. And it's in those moments where you're not feeling all sparkly, shiny, high vibe, that the ego sees its opportunity to draw you back into stagnation, into doubt, into fear. But if you continue to have faith, if you continue to take inspired action, no matter how small that action may be, writing one line in your journal, meditating for 5 minutes, or just walking in nature, connecting with a loved one, whatever resonates with you, to continue that forward momentum in your spiritual growth will serve you in those moments where you feel like you've completely veered off the path or even gone backwards a little bit. Every moment is an opportunity to take a little baby step forward, to make a little shift, a little change, to open your awareness to a new truth, and go forward with the confidence, the knowing that your actions are divinely guided if you open your heart and your mind to the flow of the universe. I also must warn you that it is the nature of the ego to implement a rewards-based system in all things. And so if something unpleasant enters into your experience, it's not a punishment. It's not a curse. It's not something that you need to beat yourself up about, causing endless worry, trying to decipher the code. It may be there to teach you something, but if you continue forward with an open heart and mind, you will receive the lesson. It's not about punishment. It's also not about reward. There's no rule saying that you meditated for 20 minutes, so now you get a vision. Or that you chanted every day for 30 days, so now you win the lottery. People often integrate the ego into their spiritual practice in a very silent way, an unacknowledged way at times. And that's another step on the spiritual journey, is to recognize that the ego is your companion throughout the spiritual journey. And that's why you need to get to know him or her, or however you choose to identify your ego. Get to know your ego so that when they try to come in and tell you, you know what, you need to do 5 hours of yoga to compensate for the mean thought you had last week. You need to be able to recognize that that's not how it works. That all you need to do is to continue forward and allow yourself to be divinely guided, inspired by your own light. That there are no conditions on the divine expression of love that you are. Silence your ego when it tells you you deserve to be punished, or that you are being punished, or that you worked too hard and you didn't get what you expected, and therefore you're being cheated out of something. Your experience at every moment is offering you wisdom, is offering the tools that you need to move forward, to become, or to step further in to your true self, into alignment with the divinity that ignites your existence. So when you experience a spiritual pitfall, know that the best thing you can do is go within, listen to your guidance, not your ego, and move forward with confidence. Move forward as slowly as you need, taking pauses if necessary, when necessary. And rise above the part of you that says you can't, that you messed up. You're learning and you're growing in every moment, and that is such a blessing. So I pray that the next time you happen to fall off of your cloud, that you're able to rise up to greater heights, carried by the energies of faith and love. Thank you for joining me. Until next time. Namaste.